Cy Clarke is a Canadian misanthrope who lives in Deptford, Sarfest, London. I know I said that wrong, but it's okay. As someone who's neurodivergent, an immigrant, and the proud owner of an invisible disability, she strives to present a realistically diverse array of characters in her stories. Go, Cy.
Thanks. Sorry. Sorry. This is from The Left Hand of Dog. A big booming voice announced, "The prisoner in cell A will step forwards." Did they mean me? Was this cell A? How was I supposed to know? I stood up and patted Spock's head as she joined me. "You're such a good girl, Spock." A larger door, about 1.5 meters in height, opened next to the smaller door the food tray had been shoved through. Green and purple bunny boos were both standing just the other side. I bent down to duck through the door and stepped forwards, but Purple stabbed at me with some sort of truncheon. "Not you. Step back." "What? You want to question my dog? What information do you think she has?" Spock padded towards the door, clutching her brain between her teeth, then turned to face me. She dropped the toy at my feet. "Lem no panic. Spock, good girl." No, I don't care. You can shoot me again if you want, but you're not taking my dog." I stamped my foot like the disgruntled toddler I apparently was. Moving to stand in front of Spock, I put my hand on her. Spock walked calmly around me, then turned to face me once again. "Stay." She walked out the door. It swung shut behind her, locking me alone in the cell. Sorry, one sec. I've lost my place. Stay. She walked out the door. It swung shut behind her, locking me alone in the cell. I read this bit. I'm sorry. I slapped the wall pointlessly. The panic I'd staved off while Spock was still in the room was creeping back up my insides. Ow! I rubbed my hand on the brushed cotton of my pajama bottoms. "What the hell am I supposed to do now?" I demanded of no one in particular. "Please restate the question," replied Holly. As I paced the room, I demanded, "Where the hell did those fluffy arseholes take Spock? I swear, if they hurt her, I ground my teeth. "I don't actually know what I'll do, but it won't be pretty." "Spock has been taken for questioning," replied Holly. "She will not be harmed." I forced my anger and frustration aside. As much as I was concerned for Spock, I wouldn't get anything by being belligerent. Instead, I needed to gather as much information as I could. "Who are you, Holly? Why is it you're talking to me, but your friends are only interested in what Spock has to say?" "To answer your first question, I am your personal translation device. Translators do not normally speak to any other sentience. Your captors are most likely speaking to Spock about the crimes for which she has been arrested." I stopped in my tracks. "Arrested? What do you mean arrested?" I tried to swallow the terror. It was hard to think rationally. "What crimes are you suggesting my dog has committed? Is she going to be okay?" "With regard to your first 3 questions, I'm sorry, but I'm not party to that information. As for her well-being, the no frame of reference convention of no frame of reference dictates that she not be harmed. She must be safely delivered to the court on no frame of reference to stand trial." "Oh, okay, well, that's something at least, sort of." I closed my eyes. "If Spock's the one who's been arrested, why are you talking to me, not her?" "I am your translator and personal AI," said what had been a perfectly ordinary smartwatch yesterday. "Yeah, but why aren't you Spock's translator? You've got to admit I've got you there, right?" "Please restate the question." "Why were you assigned to me?" I opened my eyes and stared at the featureless wall in front of me. There was almost certainly a camera somewhere, though I couldn't see one. "Each individual who doesn't already have a translator is assigned one. I was installed on your watch. Spock didn't have a device suitable for an AI, so one was given to her." That explained the new caller, at least. "It was fitted with an identical translator, though over time, the differences between AI units increase as they adapt to their owner's preferences." That made me sit up. So why can't I hear when Spock's device is speaking to her? The answer occurred to me just as Holly said. Spock's device speaks at a frequency not detectable by human ears. Huh, was all I could muster as I flopped down on the bed, dejected. Spock had been gone for a while. Despite Holly's assurances that she was okay, I was worried. The anxiety felt like a rock in my chest. Initially, you can set me in either literal or figurative mode, said Holly. Over time, I'll learn your personal preferences for how best to relay information to you. I scrunched up my face. What do you mean? My personal AI did not sigh at me. It definitely didn't. At present, I have not been set to either literal or figurative mode, and I don't know enough of your personal preferences to make a reasonable guess. So there are gaps in our conversation where there is no common frame of reference. If you instruct me to use literal mode, I will endeavor to explain alien concepts precisely in order to aid your acquisition of knowledge. If you set me to figurative, then, to facilitate expedient communication, I will choose the closest corollary drawing from your own mind. This will include facts you already know but may have forgotten. I will also incorporate extrapolative and fictional sources. Your extensive knowledge of science fiction will provide a useful base for figurative mode. Huh? For instance, when you asked earlier about the composition of your meal, I could have explained that the primary bulk was derived from the root of a plant native to the fourth planet of a star system you have no name for in the galaxy you think of as NGC 5128. The root is known for providing complex carbohydrates and for its ability to absorb flavors. Or I could have said it was a cassava. This would not have been factual in a literal sense, but it would have conveyed a basic understanding with fewer words. Oh, yeah, do that then, the figurative thing. I was feeling more than a bit overwhelmed. As you wish, said Holly. The low door opened again and Spock returned, ears back and tail between her legs. She plodded to the edge of the bed. I reached for her, relief flooding my system. She buried her head in my armpit. Want to go home? Yeah, I know, mate. Me too. She looked up at me. Spock, good girl? The bestest, I replied, stroking her fur. She climbed up onto the bed and nuzzled into me. How are we ever going to get home? That's it.